I must say before you watch this podcast, again, shit, man, he keeps on coming before the podcast. It's the editor talking. I've changed things on my microphone, so I like the sound of my voice like that. I like the sound of my voice. The microphone seems more professional, but sometimes when I'm talking here, you see, you can't really understand, or it's harder to comprehend or understand. You know what I mean? And also when I'm like singing, the microphone doesn't pick up when I'm doing. Yeah, the microphone doesn't pick up. But yeah, just bear that in mind, and I'll try and fix it for a new video. Always learning. We are always learning. Don't forget that. It's like every episode, something to fix. Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Is This Even a Podcast? Where your host truly, your host truly, yeah, your host, me, Fredo, discuss about themes, subjects, things that I'm experiencing, problems, conflicts, everything, honestly. And for me, I like to tell the viewer exactly what is my podcast or what is this type of video before he jumps in, or she, he, them jumps in. This is a podcast. This is a form of episode that helps me a lot. I've forgotten a bit about that notion. I think every start every episode I start it same except the last one. Thanks for your kind regards, your comments. I've looked at them, and it's cool that some people saw that video because I thought it was pretty good. And I'm sure to do more episodes like that with some of my friends in the future. But yeah, I do these episodes because it helps me a lot. Because I believe that a lot of things in your head, it's very complicated to translate it into language. And so this video, I see it as an exercise. Well, at least I want to see it as an exercise. That's why I'm telling myself right now. I've forgotten that my purpose can change, of course, but the purpose for this, my intention behind these videos was an exercise for me, an exercise. No, it was for me, an exercise to have more clearer mind, not a more controlled mind, but so that notions and things that I've experienced can, for me, be more clearer. And in a sense, when they're more clear, clear doesn't mean simplify, just dissecting in a sense. It's just seeing the big picture of it, mind map. And this can help me. And then the second intention is that if ever you find something, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is interesting, saying that, well, anything can be interesting, honestly. It only depends on your interest or your openness to interest or your openness something to be interesting. I'm already started. So it only depends on the viewer, on you guys. If you find something interesting or you want to hear something that may be written in the title, and because I know at least that's what one of my main intentions doing these type of videos was that I really liked listening to podcasts or listening to individuals that would share out, be vulnerable and share out thoughts, thoughts that we all have, but we can't really, we don't have the gut, we don't have the balls, or if you don't have the balls, the courage to say things out loud, to be honest. I believe we all have the same problems, or we have a certain degree of the same problems. Not certain degree. People that have far larger problems than us. But it's just a question of honesty with ourselves and with others. And so these type of episodes also exercise my honesty. I'm really scared that you can hear the rain, but I really don't want to close the door because like after that I'm gonna sleep. And sleeping when it's a bit more hot is pretty amazing. So I really, really hope. I'm just gonna check my microphone. I don't think. I think this microphone well is a good microphone. You know what? I'm gonna lower a little bit. Lower, 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 lower. Right. I've lowered it a little bit. Fingers crossed. But if the rain annoys you, oh, this video isn't for you. And no judgment if you want to click away if you hear the rain. Um. So yeah. So for me, it's important to set the intention. So in this episode, honestly, I was just doing my homework and was like, you know what? I want to talk. What's been up? Because I've been willing to do an episode because, like, I've had things on my mind, but at the same time, it's true that I was like, oh yeah, but for these episodes is to. But I think that's the ego talking. It's a sense of an ego, a sense of an identity. Or man, this isn't good for the episode. I mean, who fucking cares about that? No, 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 no. I'm like, I think I wasn't aware in that moment, and rightfully so. But my intention with this podcast wasn't to impress people, wasn't to 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 like create a false image of all right, so today I'm going to talk to you, even though like I'm sad and fucking angry. Today I'm gonna show you how to control your emotions. I'm sad, I'm angry, blah 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 blah. I mean, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna force myself. So still no, I think I wouldn't do a podcast because I wasn't very aware, but at the same time, like me doing this podcast nurtures my awareness. So in a sense, I could have. But yeah, I was just a bit troubled with a very, very, very big notion. And every time I think of like a big notion, I don't know why, but I've got this music from Oppenheimer. It's like it's the basic song, you know, the every time I feel like I'm God, what's his first name? I think I'd never have guessed that. Robert Oppenheimer. And every time I think of that, think of big subjects, like these big, big, big. You know, when you like, I'm not gonna say understand because you can't really understand something, but when you feel like you have a grasp, 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 a grasp on a subject or a theme, which is pretty like um spiritualist, spiritualistic, spiritual or existential. You know, when you think you've got a grasp on it, every time like I've got this music, I got recently because I was at the cinema and I heard that song. I was like, shit, it's amazing. I would like to do sometimes like film reviews. I was thinking of doing one, but you know what? I'll do one right now. I watched Hercule Poirot. Let me show you exactly what it. So wait. It's this Mystère à Venise. Well, French version. La mort n'est que le début. I watched that because I bought a pass. first 6 month free of cinema. It's this thing in France. If you don't live in France, oh, I was literally gonna do a review. I forgot. It's this thing in France where you get 300 euros for free, and you can only use it on this site or this application on cinemas, museums, books. You know, it's pass culture, cultural pass. And I bought a 6 month uh, cinema subscription, so I can see like 5 films a day if I want. So it's really, really good. It's a really, really good idea, I think. And I was gonna watch Barbie, but then my mum wants to watch it, so I don't watch it with her another day. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna still go to the cinema, and I saw this, and I wanted to be entertained, and rightfully so. I was kind of entertained, but oh yeah, if I'm looking at the left, my screen is dead. That's why I'm looking at the poster. Ooh, it's really, really, really beautiful. I mean, the first shots, whenever you see it, oh my god, the shots in do you call Venice? Do you call Venice in English? Venice, Venice, Venice. Yeah, Venice. I hope. Yeah. The first shots in Venice are really, really cool and beautiful. Like this. So that guy right here, he's a director, and like, oh well, it's really funny. I was exactly going to say that. You can see on the poster the characters a little bit moved. You know what am I saying? Slightly. Well, the camera isn't straight. It's at an angle, and loads of the shots in the film, start of the film, are all at that angle, and I love that. I love that. It's good, but you can't overdo it because when you've got these type of angles, it's cool, but then you know you, there's this thing in there's this thing in cinema. So I'm a teacher of cinema. There's this thing in cinema where if you bombard spectator shots like that, yes, it's beautiful, but I think the spectators here to see a story, or at least to be entertained. So there, there has to have the film has to have a story, and so with all these shots, you just forget the whole narrative. Well, at least I forgot a little bit of that narrative, or I just got you know when you do editing, even though imagine you've got a shot outside, you've got a shot inside him, you've got a shot in the room. Um, Imagine you show inside directly, then outside, then inside. Unconsciously, it's gonna well, personally, that ain't great because unconsciously you're trying to locate where you are because you are, in a sense, identifying with the characters. So you're trying to know where you at. So that's why you often see in the films that they always show gradually, so outside, inside. So that's why sometimes in films, which film like this film is always located in one building, got outside shots, inside shots, outside shots, inside shots. So that's why as I said, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I wouldn't say beautiful. Pretty shots, pretty shots, really pretty shots. The colors were really good. The story's just but he did. Oh no. It oh yeah, I forgot to say. This is an adaptation of Agatha Christie's magic what it is. What is it? I don't know. I can't I've forgotten. But it's one of Agatha Christie's novel. And that's Hercule Poirot, this guy. And so let me come back. Let me come back to me. And so I just I was I didn't really know where the story was going. And you're trying to anticipate a little bit, or you're unconsciously anticipating where it can be. And in these type of movies when you know it's not Oppenheimer, you know. It's not a masterpiece. So you're trying to you're really a critique, and if you're really a dick like me, you'll try and find like the shitty things, the rough cuts, the les faux raccords, as you say in French. You know, trying to find the negatives. So maybe projection perception. I wanted to see negative, so I just couldn't follow the story. And at the end, I kind of understood. But even there's one thing I don't really like sometimes in these type of movies is like, imagine this like guy comes out of nowhere, like Hercule Poirot, and's like, so he did that, and what happened is that you gave him that, and that happened, and that, and just like, man, hey, calm down. Like, I know that in that context, you're in real life. Of course, the detective is going to talk like that. You know, he's like, in the action, he's not going to say, so this happened, that happened, that. Or it can be. But, fucking hell, you're in a film, man. But at least I couldn't follow at the end. I understood who killed who and why. Spoil it, but hell, it was pretty complicated to follow. So I would honestly give it um, 0 out of 5. I would not 0 out of 5. 2 out of 5, honestly. Perfect for Sunday afternoon film. I think unconsciously I like certain films a certain hour. I know that in the night I love comedies. No, I love comedies slash dramas. And in the afternoon it's fuck all. I can watch whatever. And in the morning it's action movies. There was a time where for like 5 weeks, no, 2 months, I would watch like every Mission Impossible, every Jason Bourne, and I've watched them all in that period. And because like as a thing, Sunday morning, waking up, you're going back to school. Yeah, you're going back to school the next day, and I don't know, it's just easy to follow action movies. Not easy to follow, but you don't need a lot of effort. There's not. You don't have to put much effort to follow. Saying that I did not really follow the film I saw today, but yeah, well, I like doing that film critic. I like doing that film critic, film review. So I would honestly, hey, come on, 2.5, 2. I'm being mean. 2, shit, man. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Honestly, that's my lowest rated movie, I think, of 2020. Yeah. If ever it interests you, I've got a long last love. Shit, my northern accent came out there. Two stars. Gee, what? I went and seen that. I had no expectation at all, but still, it was crap. And yeah, American Psycho at 2.5, but I'll put it over there. And if ever it interests you, Fight Club, number one. This is the film. These are the films I've seen in 2023. La La Land, fucking masterpiece. Whew, Oppenheimer. So you want to pause and see? Voila. So yeah, all that to say, I heard a song. I heard the Oppenheimer song, and also to say that I think I'll do some. I like, I like not defining things, and I like, well, yeah, I, and I like not knowing what I'm going to say on these type of podcasts, and like not having a certain form, a certain intention. Yeah, why not? But certain form, sometimes. Um, maybe I'll do a movie critic, a film critic, a movie review, a book review, anything honestly. 'Cause one thing that pisses me off is that my own limitations. Sounds so. In your mind, only limitation remain. You can do whatever. You can do whatever, but complicated. Um, but I'll do whatever. Honestly, I'll do whatever on this podcast. And so I heard Oppenheimer, and it made me think. Oh shit, man! I love that film because like I saw myself. Well, Nolan did a, a great job. I saw myself in Robert Oppenheimer because now one of my struggles is my relations to my thoughts. So you see, when I started really being interested in, I think I'm gonna say that, yeah. Jesus Christ! Wait, let me just turn down that. When I started being aware, I would say, even though there is no problem being not being aware, and you'll understand why I have a smile saying that, you because my problem was lying. Ah, you'll understand. You'll understand. So when I started to be aware, I started meditating, reading books, well, just understanding more about the brain, understanding more about the mind, the mind. When I started to being interested about the mind, I remember on this app, on this Headspace app, this guy, always would say, you are not your faults. Rightfully so, because I didn't know. I just heard that. I was like, okay, right. But then when I read the Beep, great book that I've never finished, I really like that. Never finished my books. I can always pick them up. In Why Buddhism is True by Robert Wright. There's a whole passage on thoughts and on how actually you are not your thoughts. You're not your emotion. No, you are. It's complicated. You're not your thoughts in the sense that you're not the creator of your thoughts. The thoughts arise because there's a in your environment something triggered. Imagine there's like a guy there and he's like watching, you know. Oh my god, he sees what is he seeing? A map. There's a map in front of me. And he's like, okay, a map. Bam, I've got a thought about a map. You know what I mean? You 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 are your thoughts, but you're not the creator of your thoughts. And so this guy on this meditation app called Headspace would always say, remember when you're lost in thoughts, it's important to tell the brain, oh, that's thinking. And time passes and you keep on repeating that, your brain creates a muscle. And every time you're overthinking, it's thinking, that's thinking, that's thinking. And honestly, it worked very well for me first because I think like everything like that, it was new to me. So yeah, it worked. But then I just forgot about that notion. I let myself. I really think it's with this summer holidays. I really let myself go. If ever I'm gonna think about that all day, I'm gonna think about that. I've got nothing else to do. Think, you know. Um, and then after summer holidays, I was like, you know what? Let's come back to that notion. Noting. It's called noting. So thinking. Um, is this thinking, um, remembering, planning, or imagining? And you can do the same thing with emotions. Oh, this is anger. This is this sadness, and it worked for me at the start, and I, s- I at the start 2 years ago, and now when I did it, it just didn't feel right, didn't feel right because this is complicated to explain. My awareness, or when I said, this is thinking, in my mind, this this is thinking, that thought, this is thinking became a thought. And so this is thinking, it's just an endless circle, endless circle. And it's so hard to detach yourself from that circle and take the back seat, because even thinking of the back seat is thinking, you know what I mean? And so I just kept on suffering myself, kept on really like, how can you say, water break, just keeping myself, I was just making, creating, oh my God, how can you say that? Suffering? Yeah, there was suffering. I was the creator of that suffering. So over time, I just let go. Every time I say let go, it doesn't feel right. I want to say I let it go. Like you say, I've oriented north, or I've landed, so I've let it go. But that is in English. And I've understood that life isn't about awareness. So awareness, that moment where I catch myself and said that's thinking. Because at the end of the day, I'm a human. And I'm not going to say my age, but I'm at the start. I'm at my start of my life. Or it's going to get very philosophical, philosophical, philosophical. I'm a human, and I cannot be aware at certain moments. And I've realized that I'm actually forcing myself to be aware, even though the whole point of being aware is an effortless effort. Something loads of Buddhists say, and teachers of mindfulness, teachers of mindfulness seems wrong. Um, no, it isn't wrong, but seems strange to my mind. Often say that, oh yeah, when you catch yourself and say, oh, that's thinking, it's effortless. It's not pressure. And just I realized that I was putting on big effort, and even sometimes when it gets a bit contradictory, even when I was like really effortless, it's still like too much for me. No, it's like was for me like life is about that. Life is always a meditative state, so concentration state, and nothing else. Blah blah blah, and just it was really detaching myself from reality. It would be my perception was totally my perception was sometimes I lose my word. I couldn't see well. Couldn't see reality. I couldn't see what maybe what was reality. And so my ego and naturally myself wasn't healthy for me. And also, I realized that life isn't about that. So much more things in life than that. And this, mm, I talked, I talked about it with my sister, and she said one thing that really resonated with me because I explained her my situation. Then she said, "It seems like you have the tools, and you're using the tools everywhere. So everywhere also means that when there isn't a problem, you're trying to create a problem." And I was like, and it's so true. Sometimes I often I didn't even think about it, didn't even, you know, make an effort about that situation or to perceive the situation that way. I'm still saying, hmm, okay, so that's anger, but then that's jealousy. I'm like, I, even though I'm not the creator of my thoughts and emotion, you still, filter as a sort of filtering. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying right now. This is a more chill episode. I like it. I'm fucking saying whatever. There's more things than that. And there's more things in life than just that. And I think one thing I've been neglecting my health. You know, it's not a coincidence that a lot of people say that to have a healthy brain, you have to have a healthy body. And to have a healthy body, you have to have a healthy brain. And I think that I've put too much effort into my mental health, and that's backfired on me. Backfired is reality, so it hasn't really backfired on me. It is what it is. But that's how I'm feeling. So I think moving on, even though I don't really like projecting myself. I feel like when I'm projecting myself, I'm putting expectations and I'm already visualizing myself. I'll project myself. I think moving on, I'm going to concentrate on physical health because shit, it is true. But it's so funny because like the ego brain is like, scientifically, how can you prove that by moving your body, you move your brain? Because when you look at it like very logically, when you're moving your brain, you're distracting yourself. What I see as you're distracting yourself from these mental problems, that maybe those mental issues aren't a thing, and you actually put in so much effort and attention to these kind of things, it's actually intensifying that they suffer. And the sufferness, the suffering, and entis, well, adds more suffering. And so maybe when you're actually doing something else, you're doing a physical activity, you actually understand that, oh, okay, this is kind of an illusion. That anxiety I was having was based on something that isn't real. Or I like this. Les faits sont là, mais la gravité et le ton sont changés. So basically, the fact is always there. It is what it is, but you change the gravity and the effect it has on you. That's, for me, that's like really right for everything. Like everything is what it is. You choose how it affects you. It's a bit of a stoic way to see it, but I see. I like to see it like that. I think I'm gonna do that moving forward. Well, I'm gonna listen a little bit to the rain. If ever, oh my God, I'm becoming a teacher. Um, while I listen to the rain, slowly stopping as I'm stopping this episode. Maybe deconnect your headphone and just listen to a noise or pay attention to noises in your perimeter. Perimeter.